Welcome back to the Wellness Kitchen. My name is Paulette Lambert. You know, one of my favorite things about summer is great summer fruit. It's juicy, it's sweet, so much better than the rest of the year. So today we're going to be making a great summer dessert called Berry Crisp. We're going to be using blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, and raspberries. But you can use any summer fruit. Another favorite of mine is peaches and blueberries together. But use your imagination and come up with your own combination of fruits. It's such a simple dessert. We're going to be taking the fruit and putting it in a baking dish and just adding a touch of sugar to enhance that natural sweetness. And then we'll put in a nice crunchy topping on top made out of oatmeal, flour, a little bit of brown sugar, and nuts. This is so healthy compared to most summer desserts. And it's so simple, so easy. It's great for your backyard barbecues and for all your summer outings. Let's get started. Let's first start with our berries. And we just take all of our berries and we pour them in the bowl. Beautiful. We have a really mixed berry crust. We have all 4 berries: blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, and raspberries. And if you use frozen berries, don't let them unthaw all the way. Just let them unthaw enough that they don't stick together. You still want them frozen because you don't want all the juice to run out and then pouring that off. So we really want to keep them frozen if they're frozen. Now with that, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of tapioca, and that's going to thicken the juice that runs off from these berries when we heat them in the oven. So we're going to just sprinkle that on. And then I'm going to take about just a half a lemon. Lemon juice is really going to bring out the fruitiness in the berries. It's going to give us a lot of freshness to this and a little bit of zip. So we're just going to squeeze a lemon on here. That's about a tablespoon of lemon juice from a half a lemon. And then we're going to add some sugar. Now, typically in a berry pie, a commercial baked berry pie is going to use about a cup of sugar. We're only going to add just enough to make these sweet. We don't want so much sugar that it tastes like we're making jam. We want berry pie with that natural, beautiful, wonderful berry flavor coming through. So really, I'm just going to take 2 or 3 tablespoons. I would suggest you taste your fruit before you add the sugar, so you have a gauge of, do I need 1 tablespoon, 3 tablespoons? I don't think you ever probably need more than 1/4 of a cup is what I have here, but we're going to just probably stop at 2 tablespoons because I really think that's going to be enough sugar for these berries. They're very, very sweet. And then I'm going to put in a couple tablespoons of berry liqueur. This is cassis, and cassis is a berry raspberry liqueur. And because we're not using a lot of sugar and fat in desserts, liqueurs help us bring out a lot of flavor. So the alcohol is going to cook off in baking, so we don't have to worry about the alcohol content. But whether we do a berry liqueur or we use an apple brandy when we make an apple crisp, using these fruit liqueurs really brings a lot of flavor to our dessert. So we just have a couple tablespoons of that berry liqueur. And then you just want to really gently toss your berries. We don't want to break them up and mush them too much, so we're just going to be very gently, and we're going to toss these. Oh, this looks so beautiful. So we're going to put our berries in our baking dish. Just get those evenly spread out there. Beautiful. When we do berry desserts, very often we make berry pie. And the difference between a berry crisp and a berry pie is that we don't have the high-fat topping. You know, when we make pie crust, it's flour and it's either butter or lard or shortening. Typically, a whole berry pie would have about 160 grams of fat and not healthy fat. Our berry crisp has about 40 grams of fat, and we're going to be using a no trans fat margarine that's low in saturated fat and higher in healthy fat, along with just a couple tablespoons of walnuts that are very high in omega-3s. So the fat that's in our berry crisp is actually good for you fat versus fat that's in a pie is not good for you. And we have about 75% less. That's considerably much less fat, which means less calories as well. So what I have here is a half a cup of flour, and I have a half a cup of brown sugar, and I have a whole cup of good old-fashioned oatmeal. And this is just rolled oats. And the benefit of oatmeal, and that's a good part of our crisp on top, is that it is a real whole grain food, not a lot of processing, just rolled oats. And it also is very, very high in fiber. And then we're adding a 1/4 cup of our very low-fat margarine. And then we're going to put a couple tablespoons of walnuts. And you can use pecans or you can use almonds. All of those nuts are really good for you because they're high in omega-3. Don't overmix it. It should look kind of floury and crumbly. Just want to cut that in because we're just coating all that those oat flakes with a little bit of the margarine and the flour, and it's going to come out to be a really crisp crumble topping on top of here. think that's pretty well mixed. Here. Okay, that's great. We'll set that aside. And let's bring back our berries in our baking dish. And then we're just going to sprinkle our topping over the top. You don't have to have every bit of berry covered. It's okay if a few berries peek through. Oh, this is going to be so good. This is, again, one of my favorite desserts all year long. You can make this with frozen berries when they're out of season, as I said earlier. And then in the summer, when we have wonderful seasonal fruit, you may want to try different fruit combinations. One of my favorite ones in the summer is fresh blueberries with fresh peaches. And instead of berry liqueur, we use just a couple tablespoons of almond-flavored liqueur with peaches, nectarines, and berries. Wonderful tasting. Well, this looks like it's ready to go in the oven, and I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for about 35 minutes until it's bubbly and the top gets nice and brown and crunchy. Well, it looks like our berry crisp is cooled enough that I think we can take a sample. Let's see. Oh, this looks so delicious. We got that nice crispy crust on top. Oh, it looks so good. And what we're going to put is a little bit of light whipped cream, not very much, but just a little bit. There we go. Oh, it looks beautiful. I can't wait to take a bite. Sure, get a little bit of that light whipped cream. So good. Such an intense berry flavor with that crispy oatmeal topping. It's wonderful. Again, a dessert that counts. We've got our berries that are really high in antioxidants, powerful antioxidants. We've got our oatmeal topping that's high in fiber, with a few of our nuts in there for a dash of healthy omega-3s that help fight inflammation. So not only do we have a dessert that's wonderful tasting, it's also very good for you. This is Paulette Lambert from the Wellness Kitchen, where it's always nutritious and everything's delicious.